My son refused to support me. I terminated his $1 million monthly allowance. The phone rang at 晚上7点14分. I knew it was him. I let it ring twice before I picked up. Dad, I can't do it. That was my son. My only son. My legacy. Can't do what, Derek? I asked, even though I already knew. I can't fly out there. I've got the quarterly review tomorrow. Mark is presenting. I can't leave him hanging. I was sitting in a hospital bed. Mayo Clinic, Rochester. 3 floors up, overlooking the parking garage. My left arm was heavy with 4 lines. My chest still hurt from the biopsy. I'm not asking you to move here, I said. I'm asking for 2 days. 2 days, Derek. Then you go back to your life. Silence. I heard ice clinking in a glass. His penthouse in San Francisco had a bar made of Italian marble. I paid for that bar. Look, I'll send someone. I'll have my assistant book you a private room. The best one. Okay, I don't need a room, I said. I need my son. More silence. He was thinking. I knew his silences. They were always about cost-benefit analysis. Dad, you got nurses there. Doctors. You said it yourself, it's just tests. You're not dying. I had a biopsy today. Yeah, but it's probably nothing. You're tough. I closed my eyes. The fluorescent light above my bed buzzed. I could hear the beeping of the machine next to me. My heart rate. It was steady. Calm. Too calm, maybe. Derek, your mother died in this hospital. Dad, she was alone in a room just like this. I was in Tokyo. You were in Ibiza. We both let her down. That was different. Mom was sick for months. We didn't know. We know, I said. We just didn't want to see. He sighed. That long, patient sigh he'd learned from watching me negotiate. He thought it made him sound powerful. It made him sound exhausted. I'll come next week, he said. I promise. After the review. I'll be dead by then. Don't be dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. I'm 75. They just cut a piece out of my lung. I don't know what they're going to find. And my only son is too busy to fly 3 hours. It's not 3 hours. It's 4 with the time change and security, and look, can we not do this? I have a dinner in an hour. With who? Investors. What are you investing in? It's a tech fund. Artificial intelligence. Big stuff, Dad. You wouldn't get it. I didn't say anything. I was a building contractor. I built skyscrapers, bridges, roads, things that stay, things you can touch. I built this country's bones, and my son just told me I wouldn't get it. Derek, I said, my voice quiet now. I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you coming? I can't. I'll send flowers. He laughed. He actually laughed. You're going to send flowers to your father's hospital room. It was a joke, Dad. Relax. I looked at the drip. Clear liquid. Keeping me alive while my son joked about flowers. Okay, I said. I understand. Thank you. I knew you'd get it. I'll call you Sunday. Don't bother. What? I hung up. The phone sat in my lap. It was the newest iPhone. He sent it to me for Christmas. Top of the line. I didn't know how to use half of it. I stared at the wall. White. Sterile. The same color as every hospital room I'd ever been in. My wife's room had been white. She died staring at that white. Alone, I picked up the phone again. I scrolled to my calendar app. It was full of reminders. Doctor appointments. Physical therapy. A meeting with my estate attorney next Thursday. I opened my banking app. Balance, 4742,200 美元. Liquid. That was just the cash. The real money was in the trust. The company. The real estate. All of it, someday, meant for Derek. I thought about his penthouse, his Tesla, his art collection, his wine cellar, his expensive Italian bar where he poured himself whiskey while I sat in a hospital bed. I thought about my wife, Evelyn, lying in that same white room. She held my hand and said, "Take care of him. He's all we have." I had tried. God knows I tried. I called my attorney. It was after hours, but he answered, "Jack, you okay? I need you to do something for me." "Name it." "I need you to get on a plane tomorrow. Fly to San Francisco. I'm going to email you a list of instructions." "What kind of instructions?" "The kind that change everything." I hung up. Then I called my financial manager. "Jack, it's late. What's going on? I need you to freeze all accounts connected to Derek Harrison. Personal, business, credit lines. Everything." Silence. "Jack, that's a lot of money. Are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything in my life." "Can I ask why?" "He told me he'd send flowers." "I'm sorry, just do it. I'll sign the paperwork in the morning." I hung up. My chest was hurting again. Not from the biopsy. From something else. Something older. I looked at my phone. No missed calls. He wasn't going to call back. He wasn't going to apologize. He was probably already at his dinner, pouring his Italian wine, laughing with his investors about AI and the future and all the things his old man wouldn't get. I closed my eyes. When I opened them, I was looking at the ceiling, white, the same white Evelyn had looked at, but I wasn't going to die staring at it. I was going to do something first. I checked out of the hospital the next morning. Against medical advice. The doctors were annoyed. The nurses were concerned. I didn't care. I had my driver take me to the airport. I flew commercial. First class, but commercial. Derek would have taken a private jet. He had 3 of them. 3. For one man, I landed in San Francisco at 10 a.m. The air smelled like sea salt and money. I took a car to the office. Not his penthouse. The office. Harrison Properties. That was the name. I built it from nothing. Started with a single bulldozer and a handshake. Now it was a glass tower in the middle of the financial district, worth more than most countries. I walked through the lobby. The security guard almost stopped me. Then he recognized me. "Mr. Harrison. I didn't know you were coming." Surprise. The elevator took me to the top floor. The doors opened onto a lobby with marble floors and a receptionist who looked like she'd walked off a magazine cover. "Can I help you?" she asked. Her voice was syrup. "I'm here to see Derek." "Do you have an appointment?" "I'm his father." Her face went white. She scrambled for the intercom. "Mr. Harrison, your father is here." There was a pause. Then Derek's voice. "Send him in." The doors opened. I walked into his office. It was huge. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the bay. His desk was made of wood from a tree that was probably older than me. His chair was leather. His suit was Italian. He stood up. He looked annoyed. "Dad, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be in the hospital." I laughed. "You laughed? Why?" "Because I had something I needed to do." He walked around his desk. He put a hand on my shoulder. I let him. His hand was soft. He'd never worked a day in his life with those hands. "Look, I'm sorry about last night. I was stressed. The review is a big deal." "I know. I'll come see you next week. I promise. We'll do dinner. Let's steak place you like." "You don't know what steak place I like." He blinked. "What?" "You don't know. Because you've never been. I've asked you 10 times in the last 3 years. You always have a meeting." "Dad, you said you sent flowers." You laughed. It was a joke. "You're being sensitive." I reached into my pocket. I pulled out a single piece of paper. It was a letter of instruction. My attorney had drafted it overnight. What's that? Derek asked. Your monthly allowance. His face shifted. He knew what I was talking about. $1 million. Every month. For 12 years. Plus bonuses. Plus trust distributions. Plus his salary from the company, which was $5 million a year, even though he never showed up before noon. What about it? I'm terminating it. Effective immediately. He laughed. That same laugh from last night. You can't do that. I can. I built the company. I wrote the trust. I own everything. The company is mine now. You signed it over. I signed over operational control. I didn't sign over ownership. I still own 62% of the shares. His face went white. He sat down. You're bluffing. I'm not. You wouldn't do this. You're my father. I am. And you're my son. And last night, when I asked you to come see me, you told me you were too busy and then you laughed about sending me flowers. His mouth opened. Closed. Opened. That's not fair. I had the review. I had investors. It's not my fault you got sick. It's not your fault, I agreed. It's mine. I gave you everything, and I gave you nothing. I taught you how to make money, but I didn't teach you how to be a person. He stood up. He was taller than me. Stronger. But right now he looked like a bull. You're making a mistake, Dad. You need me. You're old. Who's going to take care of you? I've had nurses for 6 months. You visited once. I was busy. You were in Ibiza. He stopped. His eyes darted away. He'd been caught. That was a business trip. It was a yacht party. I saw the pictures on Instagram. He had nothing to say. For the first time in his life, he had nothing to say. I walked to the window. The bay looked beautiful. Ships moving. Seagulls. All that money in motion. You took everything I built, I said, and you turned it into a lifestyle. You didn't grow the company. You didn't expand it. You just spent it. You spent your inheritance before I was even dead. That's not true. Show me one project you started. One building you built. One job you created. He stared at me. I can't. He finally admitted. No. You can't. Because you've done nothing. You've been playing at being a businessman while I was dying in a hospital room, alone. His face crumpled. He was going to cry. I'd never seen him cry. Not even at his mother's funeral. Dad, please. I'll do better. I promise. I'll come see you. I'll come every week. No, you won't. You'll make promises for a month. Then you'll get busy again. Then you'll send flowers. I won't. I swear. You swore last night. You swore you'd come next week. Then you told me you'd send flowers. He sat down again. He was shaking. What do I do? He asked. Tell me what to do. There's nothing you can do. I already did it. Did what? I pulled up my phone. I showed him the confirmation email from my attorney. The trust had been restructured. Effective that morning, you're not in the will anymore, Derek. Not as the primary beneficiary. What? Who is? The Harrison Family Foundation. It's going to fund national parks, state parks, public lands. Everything your mother loved. He stared at the screen. His hands were shaking. You can't do that. That's billions. That's my inheritance. It was your inheritance. Now it's going to something that matters. I'll sue. I'll fight it. You can try. But the trust is airtight. I have the best lawyers in the country. And you have no standing. You're just a beneficiary. Beneficiaries don't get to make demands. He stood up. He was crying now. Tears streaming down his face. Dad, Please. I'll change. I'll do anything. Just don't take it all away. I looked at him. My son. My only son. The boy I'd taught to ride a bike. The boy I'd taken to ball games. The boy who looked at me like I was a hero. That boy was gone. This man in front of me was a stranger who happened to have his face. It's done, Derek. I'm sorry. I turned and walked out. He screamed my name. I kept walking. The elevator doors closed. I leaned against the wall and closed my eyes. My chest hurt. But it was a good hurt. The first week was quiet. I checked back into the hospital. The tests came back. The biopsy was negative. No cancer. I was going to live. I didn't tell Derek. The second week, the calls started. Not from Derek. From his friends. His associates. His lawyers. Jack, this is ridiculous. You're destroying your son's life. Jack, he's young. He made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. Jack, if you do this, you'll regret it. He's all you have. I listened to them all. I said the same thing to everyone. He told me he'd send flowers. They didn't get it. They thought it was about the money. It was never about the money. The third week, Derek showed up at my house. My real house. The one in Palo Alto. The one I'd lived in with Evelyn for 40 years. He knocked on the door. I opened it. He looked terrible. His suit was wrinkled. His eyes were red. He hadn't shaved. Dad. Derek. Can I come in? I stepped aside. He walked in. He looked around the living room. Everything was the same. Evelyn's photos on the mantel. Her favorite chair. Her books. He sat down on the couch. He put his head in his hands. I lost everything. What? The investors pulled out. The board is calling for my resignation. The banks froze my credit. I can't pay my staff. I can't pay for anything. I know. The penthouse is going into foreclosure. I can't make the mortgage. I haven't had a salary in 3 weeks. I have no money, Dad. None. I sat down across from him. I didn't feel sorry for him. I felt sorry for the boy he used to be. What did you think was going to happen? I asked. I thought you'd calm down. I thought you'd change your mind. I told you I wouldn't. I didn't believe you. You've always given me everything. My whole life. I know. That was the problem. He looked up at me. Tears streaming down his face. What am I supposed to do? I have a team of people who depend on me. I have partners. Employees. What they depend on, I said, is your daddy's money. You don't have that anymore. So now you have to figure out what you actually have. That's so easy for you to say. You still have billions. I built that. Every dollar. With my hands. With my back. With my brain. You never built a single thing. He flinched like I'd hit him. You're right. I didn't. I just took what you gave me. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. Sorry for what? For everything. For not being there. For being a bad son. For laughing at you on the phone. He was crying hard now. Sobbing. Like a child. I didn't mean it. I was just stressed. I was scared. You were scared. Of you. Of what you say. I knew I was letting you down, and I couldn't face it. So I made a joke. It was stupid. I looked at him. For the first time in years, I saw a flicker of the boy I used to know. You hurt me, Derek. You hurt me worse than any disease could. I know. You left me alone. In a hospital. Just like your mother. I know. And you left. He broke down completely. His whole body shook. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. I'll do anything. Just please don't throw me away. Please. I stood up. I walked to the window. The garden was in bloom. Evelyn had planted those roses. She said they'd outlast us both. She was right. They were still here. She wasn't. I'm not throwing you away, I said. I'm just not carrying you anymore. He didn't understand. I could see it in his face. What does that mean? It means you're on your own now. No safety net. No trust fund. No company. You have to make your own way. I don't know how. Then you learn. He stood up. He came over to me. He was taller than me, but right now he looked small. Can I get a job at the company? Just a small one. Just to get started. The company doesn't exist anymore. He stepped back. What? I dissolved it. Sold the assets. The buildings are being auctioned. The employees got severance. It's done. His face went white. You sold everything. Everything we built. Everything I built. You had nothing to do with it. How could you do that? That was our legacy. That was Mom's legacy. I turned to face him. Your mother's legacy is that garden out there. And the foundation. And every part that's going to be saved because of the money I'm putting in her name. That's her legacy. Not a glass tower in San Francisco. He started to say something. Then he stopped. He looked at the garden. At the roses. I remember her planting those, he said quietly. I was little. She let me hold the trowel. I remember too. I miss her. So do I. We stood there in silence. The first silence we've shared in years that didn't feel like a fight. What am I supposed to do now? Dad, you get a job. A real one. You rent an apartment. A small one. You learn to live on what you earn. And you figure out who you are without my money. What if I can't do it? Then you fail. And you try again. That's what I did. That's what everyone does. He wiped his face with his sleeve. It was a clumsy gesture. Like a little boy. Will you talk to me while I figure it out? I'm your father. Not your banker. I'll always talk to you. He hugged me. First time in years. His arms were heavy. He was shaking. I love you, Dad. I should have said it more. I should have said it every day. I know. We stood there a long time. The police came 2 days later. I was in the garden, pruning the roses. Evelyn had taught me how. She said the secret was to cut at an angle, just above the leaf node. I'd never been good at it. She always did it better. The doorbell rang. I wiped my hands on my jeans and walked through the house. 2 officers stood on the porch. 1 male, 1 female. Both in crisp uniforms. Mr. Harrison, the male officer asked. That's me. We received a report of elder abuse and financial fraud. I felt my jaw tighten. From who? Your son, Derek Harrison. He claims you're suffering from diminished mental capacity and that he's been coerced out of his rightful inheritance. I let out a slow breath. I wasn't surprised. I was disappointed. There was a difference. Come in, I said. I'll show you something. They followed me inside. I led them to my home office. It was a small room, nothing like Derek's glass tower. Just a desk, a filing cabinet, and a wall of photographs. I'd been documenting my life for 40 years. I opened the top drawer of the filing cabinet. Inside were neat folders. Medical records. Financial statements. The trust documents. Every piece of paper my attorney and I had prepared. Elder abuse, I said. I'm 75. I passed my cognitive evaluation 3 weeks ago. I have a copy of the report right here. I handed it to the female officer. She read it carefully. Financial fraud, I continued. I have every single transaction documented. My son hasn't earned $1 from this company. He's been drawing a salary for 12 years without any performance record. I can show you the minutes from every board meeting where he's never once presented a project. The male officer looked uncomfortable. Mr. Harrison, your son is claiming you're incapacitated. He had us come out here. I'm not incapacitated, I said. I'm the opposite. I'm finally clear-headed. The female officer looked up from the report. This says you passed the exam with perfect scores. I did. She handed it back. Your son also claimed you had no right to freeze his accounts because they were jointly held. I picked up a second folder. I'm the sole signer on every single account. Derek has authorized user status on some, but he's never been a co-owner. That's documented too. The male officer glanced at his partner. She nodded. We'll file a report, he said. But there's no evidence to support a criminal investigation. This appears to be a civil matter. I understand, I said. Thank you for doing your job. They laughed. I watched them walk down the driveway. I thought about Derek, sitting in his studio apartment in Oakland, making phone calls. Desperate. Failing, the calls started an hour later. You called the police on me. It was Derek's voice. Hoarse. Tired. I didn't call them, I said. You did. They showed up at my door. You set me up. You had all those documents ready. I've always had those documents ready. I built a business from nothing. I keep records. I always have. You never asked. You never cared. I need money, Dad. I can't survive like this. Then get a job. I can't. Nobody will hire me. They all know who I am. Then start smaller. Go somewhere nobody knows you. Do the work nobody else wants to do. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. I started with nothing. I slept in my truck. I ate gas station sandwiches. I built everything with my own hands. You never had to do that. Now you do. I hate you, he said. His voice cracked. I hate you for doing this to me. No, you don't. You hate that you can't control me anymore. There's a difference. He hung up. I put down the phone. I walked back to the garden. The roses were blooming. Evelyn's roses. I knelt down and kept pruning. She would have understood. She would have told me I was doing the right thing. She always saw through Derek's charm. She saw the emptiness underneath. I'm sorry, Evelyn, I whispered to the roses. I should have done this years ago. The flowers didn't answer. But the sun was warm on my back. And I felt lighter than I had in decades.